Hello and welcome to this edition of World at War. My name is Mohammed Saleh. The United States has come up with a new kamikaze drone squadron. But here is the twist. The world's most powerful military has now resorted to reverse engineering the Iranian delta-shaped drone, the Shahed-136, to create a kamikaze drone squadron that will be deployed in the Middle East. The Shahed-136 drone first gained notoriety when Russia had deployed the drone to great effect in the Ukraine war theatre. And subsequently, the Iranians themselves used the Shahed-136 drones to saturate the Israeli air defense systems and then inflicted heavy damage, something that the Israelis hadn't foreseen. But why is the United States of America now reverse engineering a simple and an inexpensive Iranian drone? Our next report gets you the details.
This new squadron is called Task Force Scorpion Strike, and it's composed of low-cost unmanned combat attack systems, otherwise known as the Lucas drones. But if the design of these drones looks familiar, then make no mistake about the fact that these new Lucas drones have been created by reverse engineering the Iranian Shahed-136 drones. It's unclear where specifically this new squadron will be deployed in West Asia, but the US military has been working feverishly in recent months to advance its own drone capabilities. Iran and its allies have hammered the US bases in the region for months in the wake of the October 7th attacks. One Iranian drone attack on an American outpost in Jordan had killed 3 US service members. At the same time, drones and missiles have been fired continuously at commercial shipping in the Red Sea by the Iran-backed Houthis. What makes the Shahed drones stand out is that they have changed the terms of engagement through their economy. They fly lower down to the ground and are very hard for radars to spot. And what the radars cannot spot, the air defense systems cannot shoot down. Manufactured by the Iranian Shahed Aviation Industries, the Shahed drones are loitering ammunition that operate as a swarm. They are fired off a launch rack in batches of 5 to overwhelm ground targets and to consume air defense resources. The delta-shaped Shahed-136 drones were revealed for the first time in December 2021. They are relatively cheap, each costing about $20,000. They have a range of anywhere from 1,800 to 2,500 kilometers. They fly at a maximum speed of 185 kilometers per hour. Each drone can carry a warhead of 20 kgs and rely on either the GPS or the Russian GLONASS navigation system for mid-flight maneuvering. The Shahed-136 drones sound like a moped or a lawnmower and have proven to be devastating in their assault capabilities. So how is the American Lucas different from the Iranian Shahed-136 drone? The Lucas drone is roughly 10 feet long and has an 8-foot wingspan. Its delta wing design is optimized for long-range loitering. The Americans claim it differs significantly in terms of engineering and versatility. Powered by a 2-cylinder DA215 engine, the Lucas contrasts with the Shahed's 4-cylinder Limbash L550E clone, providing enhanced fuel efficiency and a reduced acoustic signature. Its modular open architecture accommodates various payloads, including reconnaissance sensors, electronic warfare modules, and explosive warheads. This therefore facilitates adaptability across a wide range of mission profiles. Besides deploying the Iranian drones, Russia has also developed its own version of the Shahed-136. Called the Geran-2, Russia has been bulk producing these drones to be deployed in the Ukrainian war theatre. The Alabuga Special Economic Zone in Russia's Republic of Tatarstan, approximately 1,100 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, hosts a major Shahed assembly plant. In July, Moscow released a video of its drone factory, showing rows and rows of matte black Geran-2 drones, the Russian-built version of the Iranian-designed Shahed-136. China too has jumped on the bandwagon. The Chinese Lung M9, a new loitering munition from Lung UAV, closely resembles the Iranian Shahed-136. Inexpensive but deadly accurate drones have changed warfare forever, and the Iranian Shahed-136 appears to have emerged as a blueprint that other nations are now scrambling to deploy in the next war that will reshape global geopolitics.
At least 20 people, including a pastor and a bride, were abducted by unidentified gunmen in two separate attacks in the latest Nigeria kidnappings. Schools, places of worship and isolated rural communities have increasingly been targeted by kidnappers in the latest wave of attacks in north and central Nigeria, at a time when the country is under scrutiny from the American President Donald Trump over its alleged ill treatment of the Christians. These kidnappings have again shone a light on the insecurity in Africa's most populous nation, more than 10 years after the infamous Chibok kidnappings by the Boko Haram militants. Our next report gets you more.
Not even 10 days had passed after one of Nigeria's worst school kidnappings on the 21st of November, but the atrocious act was perpetrated again and appallingly was repeated a day after. In the first raid on the 29th of November, a bride and her bridesmaids were among those kidnapped in the mostly Muslim northern Sokoto state. Reportedly, a baby, the baby's mother and another woman were also abducted in the attack by unidentified assailants. The very next day, which was a Sunday, gunmen stormed the newly established Cherubim and Seraphim Church in the central Kogi state, firing shots and forcing congregants to flee in panic. Reportedly, the pastor, his wife and several worshippers were abducted by the attackers. Though it is yet to be established who is behind these kidnappings, analysts are of the opinion that it is the handiwork of criminal gangs seeking ransom payments. In a bid to bring an end to the lucrative kidnapping industry, paying ransoms has been outlawed, but it is widely believed that such payments are still being made. Some 250 school children and 12 teachers are still believed to be missing following the biggest such attack in recent weeks, which targeted the St. Mary's Catholic boarding school in Papiri, a hamlet in the state of Niger. Anthony Chime, who runs a tuck shop beside his home, is one of several parents whose children were abducted in that attack. Desperate for news, he is dismayed at the slow response of the authorities.
I miss them.
I miss them. I cannot sleep. I cannot eat.
Even to feed.
Last week, the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, under pressure, declared a nationwide security emergency and ordered the recruitment of thousands of additional army and police personnel to tackle the surge in violence across the country. His national security advisor, in an attempt to assuage fears of the affected parents, told local Catholic leaders on the 1st of December that the children are doing fine and will be back soon.
They will come back and that they shouldn't lose hope. And we have been praying. And as I said, that from my meeting with the NSA, that they are fine, they are doing well. I think they are looking after them. So they are fine. It's a matter of time they will be reunited.
On the streets, however, Nigerians expressed their outrage over the kidnappings and the government's failure in tackling the insecurity in the country.
I will only say that this government is not trying its best because so many things has happened, and with the situation of things around this country, they are not supposed to. Since they have an intelligence report, they are supposed to act even before it is being carried out. So I would say they don't really know what they are doing in the government. It's better for them to just resign and just leave.
Hajara, a journalist by profession, tried to put things into perspective, given the relentless cycle of terror following the abduction of 276 Chibok schoolgirls over a decade ago by Boko Haram militants.
When the Chibok abduction came to play in 2014, we were still, it's still fresh for Nigerians. It's something very new for Nigerians. It's something that one might not really even understand. For an average Nigerian, even the word abduction does not exist in his vocabulary.
While many of the Chibok hostages were liberated in the following years, around 90 of the girls are still unaccounted for. What's worse is that the jihadist group's tactic seems to have been adopted by criminal gangs without ideological affiliation seeking ransom payments, with authorities seemingly powerless to stop them.
In Sudan, the RSF claims to have captured West Kordofan this week, as the paramilitary continues to steadily increase pressure on the Sudanese army. At least about 269 civilian deaths have been recorded since late October, when the paramilitary rapid support forces had captured Bara in the northern part of the Kordofan state. According to the International Organization for Migration, more than 1,600 Sudanese civilians fled to the town of Kertala in South Kordofan in a single day due to the rising abuses by the paramilitary rapid support forces. With communication blackouts across the region, the actual toll could be far higher. With reports of revenge attacks, sexual violence and forced recruitment of children. On Thursday, the United Nations Human Rights Commissioner Volker Turk said that history is in fact repeating itself in Kordofan, following last month's fall of El Fasher, the capital of Sudan's North Darfur state. The intensified violence in the Kordofan region has seen more than 45,000 people flee from their homes. With the RSF now firmly in control of the western part of Sudan, the battle for Kordofan is getting much more intense. Our next report gets you more details.
The United Nations has warned that the Kordofan region of Sudan is on the brink of another wave of mass atrocities, as fighting between the Sudanese army and the RSF is threatening another possible humanitarian catastrophe. According to the International Organization for Migration, more than 1,600 Sudanese civilians fled the town of Kertala in South Kordofan in a single day, due to the rising abuse by the paramilitary rapid support forces. The north, west and the south Kordofan states have seen weeks of pitched fighting between the army and the RSF, prompting tens of thousands of people to flee from their homes. The conflict between the Sudanese army and the RSF, which began in April 2023, has killed at least 40,000 people and displaced at least 12 million, giving rise to the worst displacement crisis in the world. The conflict has led to a famine and claims of genocide in the western Darfur region, with people of El Fasher living in fear after it was captured by the RSF. Many Sudanese now ask if the world cares whether they live or die.
We reached a point where we ate ambaz for 3 months. Ambaz is made from the leftovers of peanut oil manufacturing. It is cow feed. We have been eating ambaz for 3 months. Ambaz itself became rare to find.
After the capture of El Fasher in late October by the RSF, Kordofan became a battleground for the ongoing conflict between the two forces. Along with the capture of El Fasher, the RSF seized the town of Bara in North Kordofan state, which is a crucial link between Darfur and central Sudan. According to the head of the International Organization for Migration, up to 50,000 people have been displaced from Kordofan alone.
My father was in the house. These people entered the house, and he started to resist them. He resisted them almost from inside the house until he was shot in front of the door, in his leg. He bled until he died. I was hearing all of this, but I could do nothing. They were beating and torturing us, and I could hear that my father was shot. I could not understand what was happening. These people were beating me, torturing me. I could not feel anything. My body was numb.
The rapid support forces are now pushing hard to take over Kordofan entirely. The cities and towns of the vast central region, such as Babnusa and El Obeid, are now caught in the frontier between the RSF and the Sudanese army. The fall of Kordofan into the hands of the rapid support forces will provide them with a vital gateway towards the capital city, Khartoum. So, as the bruising civil war continues to expand, Kordofan now faces the prospects of a humanitarian disaster on a scale that was just witnessed in Darfur, with Sudan currently enduring the world's largest and the fastest growing internal displacement and hunger crisis.
According to the Pentagon, the United States' military has conducted yet another deadly strike on an alleged drug trafficking boat in the Caribbean on the 4th of December, killing 4 alleged drug smugglers. The latest attack has come amidst renewed scrutiny that is being faced by the administration of the American President Donald Trump, following revelations that a targeted boat had been struck twice during the attack on the 2nd of September. Reportedly, the follow-up strike on the wreckage of the vessel that had already been struck had killed 2 survivors who were clinging to the boat, clearly running afoul of Pentagon's own war manual. US lawmakers from both sides of the political spectrum have raised concerns regarding the legality of these strikes and have also questioned President Donald Trump's authority to order these kind of strikes. Our next report gets you the details.
Since early September, more than 80 people, alleged drug dealers, have been killed across the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific in a campaign launched by the US administration targeting vessels allegedly carrying drugs, albeit without furnishing any proof. In addition to this, the US President Donald Trump has deployed the world's largest aircraft carrier and an array of other military assets to the Caribbean, insisting that they are there for counter-narcotics operations. The United Nations has expressed concern over these strikes and called for transparent investigations into these attacks.
The Secretary General remains gravely concerned about the strikes on vessels allegedly involved in drug trafficking in the region. I would remind you and refer to what our High Commissioner Volker Turk said recently, which he says he found that these strikes may violate international human rights law and called for investigations that are transparent into these attacks.
A contentious strike on the 2nd of September, in which US forces launched a follow-up strike on the wreckage of a vessel that had already been hit, reportedly killing 2 survivors, has prompted concerns that the US forces may have violated laws governing armed conflict. According to the Geneva Convention of 1949, the intentional targeting of wounded combatants is forbidden. Instead, such wounded combatants should be apprehended and given medical aid. But the US President Donald Trump, while underscoring his support for the United States Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who has attributed the strike to the fog of war, doubled down on his defense of the deadly strikes and even threatened land strikes soon.
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land.
The strikes and the military buildup has ratcheted tensions between the United States and Venezuela. The oil-rich but economically troubled Latin American nation finds itself increasingly in the crosshairs of the United States of America, the world's mightiest military. Donald Trump has long accused his foe, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, of being the leader of a drug trafficking organization, the Cartel of the Suns, a charge that Maduro denies. Nicolas Maduro, whose re-election last year was rejected by Washington as fraudulent, insists that there is no drug cultivation in Venezuela and that his country is being used as a trafficking route for Colombian cocaine against its will. Furthermore, Nicolas Maduro has alleged that the US pressure campaign is aimed at ultimately toppling his government. On the 3rd of December, the Venezuelan president, while confirming a cordial phone call with his US counterpart 10 days earlier, appeared hopeful and welcomed the path of dialogue and diplomacy.
I had a call and spoke with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. I can say that the conversation was respectful, and I can even say that it was cordial between the President of the United States and the President of Venezuela. If this call means that steps are being taken toward a respectful dialogue from state to state, from country to country, then welcome dialogue, welcome diplomacy.
Just when there seemed to be light at the end of the tunnel, yet another strike on an alleged drug boat might complicate matters, insofar as the fractious relations between the US and Venezuela are concerned.
Four people, including 3 children, were killed and 11 others were wounded in a mass shooting at a birthday party in the western US state of California late on the 29th of November. Reportedly, between 100 to 150 people were in attendance at this birthday party when the shooting took place. The motive behind the heinous crime remains unclear, and the authorities have not ruled out the possibility of multiple shooters. According to the Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as 4 or more people being shot, there have been a total of 504 mass shootings in the United States this year so far, including the birthday shooting in the city of Stockton. Though gun violence is alarmingly common in the United States, political paralysis regarding efforts to tighten gun control have endured for many years. Our next report gets you the details.
A joyous event of a 2-year-old child's birthday party was transformed into a somber one when a mass shooting took place inside a banquet hall in the city of Stockton in Northern California just before 6 p.m. local time on the 29th of November. In what the authorities described as a targeted incident, 4 people, aged 8, 9, 14, and 21 years were killed, and 11 others were injured, one of them critically. The quick responding police cordoned off the site of the incident with multiple emergency vehicles seen at the scene. The investigators, who are exploring all possibilities, including that of multiple shooters, have urged anyone with information or video footage to come forward. A bounty of $25,000 has been offered for any information leading to an arrest and conviction, but so far the search has proved to be an elusive one, with no suspect being identified or arrested. Last year, the city of Stockton saw 3,680 violent crimes, at a rate more than double the statewide rate. Though the state of California has some of the strictest firearm laws in the United States, it has faced challenges in recent years. In 2021, a federal judge had overturned the state's ban on assault weapons, such as the AR-15 rifle. Guns have been woven into the very fabric of American culture and politics. Consequently, United States, a gun-obsessed nation of 330 million people, is awash with about 400 million guns. With more guns than inhabitants, the United States has the highest rate of gun deaths of any developed country. Surveys have established that 57% of Americans are in favor of stricter gun laws. But the Republicans, the staunch defenders of America's constitutional right to bear arms, have repeatedly for years opposed any effort to tighten gun control measures. How many more tragedies will the land of the free and the home of the brave endure before it arrives at the final definite solution of stricter gun laws?
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of World at War. If you want to reach out to me with any comments, feedback or suggestions, please feel free to do so on the RD that you're seeing on your screens. I'm your host, Mohammed Saleh, and I'll see you again next week.